My name is Elias Eli Harlow. 37. Youngest in a family where being the good man meant nothing if you didn't also make money or headlines. I made fires stop. They made business cards. They clinked glasses. I cleaned ashes. And then I married Mara. She walked into my life like sunlight through dirty windows, sharp, golden, and so goddamn bright it hurt to look too long. I should have known. Nothing that beautiful ever stays where it's clean. She was packing for a 72-hour strategic rebrand summit in Charleston, her words, not mine. The bag was already zipped when I walked into the bedroom. Leather, monogrammed, too polished for business trips. I offered to get her toiletries from the guest bathroom. She said no. I got them anyway. Inside a side compartment, a small, discreet bottle. Silk Rush Lubricant. Prescription label. Name, Tess Marlowe. My blood went cold. Not her name. Not mine. Not ours. There was a saying my captain once told me, people lie. Chemical reactions don't. I stared at that little bottle and felt the silence in the house grow claws. I could have yelled. Could have thrown it in her face. But rage is a privilege I lost the day I married someone out of my league. So instead, I went to the garage. Back shelf. Locked bin. Old firefighting gear, and next to it, a tube of foam grip 940, a military-grade bonding agent used in high-heat extraction zones. Colorless. Same consistency. Slightly sweet smell. Fatal in skin contact under friction and temperature. I emptied the lubricant. Filled it with foam grip. Clean seal. Wiped prints. Put it back in the bag like I never saw it. And that should have been it. A silent war. My petty justice. But that night, lying in bed while she showered, her phone buzzed. I shouldn't have. But I did. Darius Vance. Don't forget the red scarf. 915, room 803. Bring the lube. Room 803. My chest tightened. No other messages. Just that. I could hear her humming through the bathroom door. Steaming. Peaceful. Not a worry in the world. The mirror in our hallway reflected a man with tired eyes and fire behind them. The next morning, she kissed me twice. I'll call when I land, she said. I nodded, smiled, said, knock him dead. She wheeled her bag out like nothing was wrong. And I stood at the top of the stairs, still holding the lie I hadn't said yet. People say revenge is a dish best served cold. I don't believe that. I believe it's a fuse. Short. Quiet. And deadly once it hits heat. I watched her car disappear down the street, one hand still tingling from that last kiss, and one thought flashing like an alarm bell. What the hell is she bringing to room 803? Charleston was wet with salt and traffic. Rain smeared the windshield as I sat in the rental car 2 blocks from the oceanfront Crown. I didn't follow her. I followed the signal. Mara's second phone, burner, no fingerprint, no backup, had been in my desk drawer for months. She forgot I ever cracked it. I didn't. I set up a live screen mirror through an old FDNY Ops app I'd modified during disaster response drills. Her GPS pinged, floor 8. Crown Hotel. Room 803. I tightened my grip on the steering wheel. My fingers still smelled faintly of glue. She checked in at 8:42 p.m. Darius Vance followed at 8:44. 2 separate check-ins. 1 shared room. I watched their hallway camera through an open port. The hotel's security system ran on outdated software. No one patches firewalls when they think no one cares. 9:15 p.m. sharp, red scarf, just like the text. She tapped on the door once. He opened it shirtless. Mara smiled. People say betrayal feels like a punch to the gut. No, it's a slow, cold exhale. The kind that fogs glass and cracks silence. I turned the audio up. Laughing. Muffled. Bottles clinking. And then, darkness. The hallway camera feed glitched. Static hissed. Nothing. 10 minutes passed. Then 20. Then. A different siren. Louder. Close. Fire alarm. Channel 5 live alert on my phone. Small fire reported at Oceanfront Crown. Crews responding. I switched to local scanner. Heavy smoke condition, possibly chemical reaction responding now. I stepped out of the car. Rain soaked me instantly. My breath steamed in the air. That glue, foam grip 940, wasn't supposed to burn. It needed heat. Friction. Latex. God. Damn. It. Cutscene. Fire truck screamed into view. People poured out the hotel entrance like ants from a kicked nest. Robes. Heels. Luggage. Screaming. Then the stretcher rolled out. Darius Vance, half naked, face red and blistered, legs twisted, glued to something unseeable under sheets soaked with chemical residue. Paramedics held his arms like broken branches. One was yelling about skin loss. The other gagged from the smell. And Mara? Not there. I scanned every frame. Every exit. No Mara. Cutscene. Back at the motel I didn't check into, I opened the live stream feed from a traffic cam facing the hotel. Rewound by 20 minutes. She slipped out a side exit. Hoodie. Mask. Bag. Alone. Cutscene. My phone buzzed. Block number. I let it go. Buzzed again. This time, voicemail. Click. Static. Then a voice I hadn't heard in years. Eli. It's Harper. You need to get ahead of this. Whatever you did, someone's about to make sure the story's theirs. Not yours. Harper Langford. My old firehouse partner. Now a PI. Clean, sharp, no bullshit. I called back. He picked up on the first ring. You watching the news? He asked. I'm watching my marriage disintegrate in real time. Then you better brace yourself. One of the first responders just reported finding FD-issued gloves. Tag to you. I haven't used those in years. Doesn't matter. They found them. In the debris. With your name. That shouldn't be possible. Unless someone put them there. Framed. You think this was an accident? I asked. No, he said. I think someone lit a fire to cover something else. And your name? Was just flammable enough to use. I stood in the motel bathroom, staring at my reflection under flickering fluorescent light. Someone once told me, the easiest way to bury truth is under scandal. The glue was supposed to expose her. Now it might bury me. That wasn't just revenge. That was sabotage. And now, I might have started a war. I didn't sleep. I lay on the motel bed with one eye on the door and the other on the screen. Fire footage looped on the local news. Darius screaming. Medics panicking. Flames in slow motion licking up the hotel wall. It looked cinematic, too cinematic. Controlled chaos. Someone once told me, the best way to fake an accident is to plan it like a performance. Every explosion needs an audience. I wasn't the audience. I was the scapegoat. The knock came at 6:14 a.m. 3 short raps. 1 long. I knew the rhythm. Harper. I opened the door. He stepped inside, black jacket soaked, eyes scanning every corner. Same look he used to give burning stairwells, calculating risk, exits, and lies. Tell me everything, he said. I did. Every goddamn detail. By the time I got to the gloves, he was already moving, pacing like a caged animal. They were tagged to you, he muttered. But not scanned through any FD system. That means someone used old gear, backdated tags, and planted them post-blaze. Who? That's what we're about to find out. Cut scene. Charleston Fire Department. Harper flashed his badge, fake FD consultancy creds. We were in. I kept my mouth shut while he did the talking. The investigator, Lieutenant Emery, looked tired. Coffee-stained shirt. Red eyes. A man who hadn't slept since the alarm. There was a burn pattern inconsistent with an accidental fire, Emery said. Localized ignition. Bedroom. No open flame source. Accelerant? Harper asked. Still testing. But it's sticky. Adhesive-based. Melting point far too high for candles or cigarettes. I said nothing. Harper cut a glance at me. The look said, don't confess. Yet. Cut scene. Emery's office. File cabinet. Third drawer. We waited until he stepped out to answer a call. Harper moved fast. Watch the door. He pulled a manila folder. Internal fire report. Draft version. Not filed yet. He opened it. A list of recovered items. Melted clothing. Metal clasps fused with mattress coil. 2 latex gloves, marked FDNY, Elias Harlow, decommissioned 2019. I swallowed hard. And here, Harper whispered, tapping a form. Signature of clearance, Deputy Chief Lila Monroe. Mara's former PR client. High-profile scandal. Covered up a firefighter injury claim 2 years ago. Protected by Mara's spin job. Case quietly closed. Now her name reappears, here. Connected to this fire. Covering evidence. It's not just a cover-up, Harper said. It's a loop. What kind of loop? Reputation laundering. She saves Monroe. Monroe owes her. Someone tries to expose her? Monroe buries the evidence. Cut scene. My phone buzzed. Text. Unknown number. They know it's you. Get out. Now. Another ping. Video file. I opened it. Security footage. Hotel hallway. Me. 2 days ago. Standing at the vending machine outside room 803. Holding gloves. I wasn't there. I never stood in that hallway. But the footage showed me. My face. My stance. My profile. It's been doctored, Harper said immediately. Deepfake? More like stitch editing. They used old footage of you from a past fire scene. Spliced your face. Overlaid you into the hotel angle. Jesus. That's not just revenge, Eli. That's premeditated framing. I stared at the screen. My own face, ghost-like, walking toward a room I never entered. How do you prove you weren't there? I asked. Harper looked at me, jaw set. We don't prove you weren't. We prove who needed you to be. Cut scene. I sat in my car outside the Charleston police station. I could go in. Tell them everything. About the glue. The affair. The bottle. But that wouldn't clear me. It would confirm motive. Someone once said, truth without context is just ammunition in the wrong hands. I didn't have context. They did. I looked down at my phone. Another text. This time, it's your turn to burn. If I didn't burn that room, then who the hell did? And why the hell are they trying to make it look like I did? The deeper I dug, the more it felt like the truth was a room with no doors, only mirrors. Every reflection showed me a version of myself I didn't trust. Every path I took felt planted. Harper said to lie low. I didn't. Instead, I drove 3 hours north to Durham, North Carolina, to find the one person who might have seen this coming before I did, Dr. Lena Voss. Retired chemist. Former DoD contractor. The woman who trained me back when I was nothing but ash and questions. She owed me. And I needed answers. Cut scene. Her house looked like it hadn't been touched since the Cold War. Solar panels cracked. Security cameras rusted over. But she opened the door before I knocked. You look like hell, she said. You should see the other guy, I muttered. Inside, it smelled like burnt coffee and ozone. Machines hummed. Screens flickered. She poured me tea. No sugar. Tell me what burned. Room 803, I said. Foam grip adhesive. Precision burn pattern. Bedroom epicenter. 0 survivors. 1 PR firm in chaos. Her eyes narrowed. Foam grip 940? I nodded. She leaned back, lips tightening. That stuff's not on the market anymore. DoD restricted it in 2022. I still had a tube. No. You didn't. Pause. What? That compound was cataloged. Barcode. They would have tracked any leftover inventory. You couldn't just keep it like a flashlight in a drawer. But I did. No, Eli. You were meant to believe you did. The words hit like a punch. Lena stood, walked to her old safe, spun the dial. Click. Open. She pulled out a logbook. Handwritten. Signed by me. Dated 2019. Elias Harlow, all remaining FOG 940 returned to inventory per memo 23. My signature. My pen stroke. My handwriting. That's not possible, I said, breath catching. That's not yours, Lena corrected. That's someone copying you. My head spun. If I never had the glue, how did I swap it? Or worse, who planted it? Cut scene. Harper called. They've got a warrant, he snapped. Search and seizure. Charleston PD. Your house. Your computer. They're looking for digital logs. Purchase orders. They won't find anything. That's not the point. They're building a pattern. Tools. Gear. Motive. You're being made into a monster. I stood up. Then I stopped playing the puppet. Cut scene. Back in Charleston. I didn't go home. I went to the source. AMC, the PR agency Mara worked for. The lobby smelled like vanilla and betrayal. Chrome everything. A digital aquarium pulsing on one wall. I asked for Cassidy Vane, Mara's assistant. They said she quit 2 days ago. Left a forwarding address. Another name, Nolan Vane. Her older brother. IT director at AMC. Fired last month for security breach. I found him outside a bowling alley off Route 17, reeking of weed and desperation. He recognized me instantly. Oh shit. You're her husband. You have 5 seconds to tell me what Cassidy was working on, I said. Or I swear to God, I'll feed you every lie you ever covered. He flinched. She was scared, man. Mara. She started deleting stuff. Client files. Expense records. Internal logs. Cassidy backed it all up. On a flash drive. Red casing. AMC logo. Where is it? She mailed it to someone. Said if anything happened, they'd know what to do. To who? His eyes darted away. Her lawyer. Name. He hesitated. So I grabbed his collar. He coughed, eyes watering. Victoria Elm. She's in Raleigh. Runs private legal work for whistleblowers. Cut scene. I drove through the night. Every mile, my thoughts darkened. This wasn't about Mara cheating. This was about Mara covering something. Using me as a pawn. Or worse, a weapon. I thought I lit the match. Turns out, I was the match. Arrived in Raleigh at 2:31 a.m. Victoria's office was on the second floor of a brick complex with no lights on. Except one. Her office. I knocked once. Door opened slow. She didn't look surprised. I was expecting you, she said. Why? Because Cassidy told me if the fire ever made the news you'd come. I stepped inside. And there, on the desk, unopened, but unmistakable, was the red AMC flash drive. But she didn't reach for it. She pulled a gun. And smiled. Sit down, Elias. We're not done burning yet. I walked into the ballroom like a ghost. Music. Laughter. The clink of crystal. Everything perfect. Too perfect. The AMC annual gala was more red carpet than charity. A swarm in tuxedos and designer gowns, smiling for cameras that didn't belong in a fire investigation. I wasn't invited. But when your wife's name is in the ashes of a disaster that looks like arson, you get pulled into places you never wanted to be. The chandelier above me glittered like shards of broken glass. Someone once said, power is what you have left when everyone you trusted has walked out the door. I felt that truth in every heartbeat. Cassidy Vane's name was in my pocket, her backup drive. The one Nolan pointed me to. Red logo, flash memory. My last hope. I slipped it into the inner pocket of my jacket, under my shirt. Cold plastic against my skin. I scanned. Every exit. Every suited back. Every stranger who didn't belong. I found her. Mara. Not on stage. Not laughing. Standing by the bar. Dark dress. Red scarf. The same color as the text. I cornered her. Where is it? I didn't whisper. There was no room for whispers here. She didn't flinch. You already know, she said. Voice smooth like polished danger. I saw you leave room 803. You saw what I wanted you to see. Cut scene. I pressed the red flash drive across the marble. You mailed this, I said. She leaned in. Closer than necessary. With instructions, she corrected. Not to you. To someone who could expose more than a fire. Her gaze didn't wobble. I'm not playing games. Her lips curved. That's why it's beautiful, she said. Cut scene. The screen on my phone lit up. Harper. No audio. Just a location pin dropped somewhere behind the hotel. In the alley. I didn't wait. Mara followed, eyes darting, heels clicking over the hardwood floor like warning bells. Then, an arm snaked around my waist. A voice I almost recognized, cold, clipped. Elias Harlow. You shouldn't have come. It was Darius. Not injured. Not stunned. Standing with a gun. Sharp jacket. Dead eyes. He pointed the pistol like it belonged to him. I felt a breath slip. Behind me footsteps. Slow. Calculated. Mara. Drop it, she said. Her face. No fear. No guilt. Just steel. I measured the distance. 2 feet. Then 4. Then the flash of metal. Cut scene. Gunfire. One shot. Not at me. At the chandelier. Glass exploded above. The room turned cinematic chaos. Light became knife shards in the air. People screamed. Chairs tipped. Servers fell. Harper appeared behind Darius, tackling him into a buffet table. Cut scene. Everything moved too fast. I heard Harper grunt. Darius cursed. Mara ran towards the back exit. I followed. Out into the alley. Rain pounding like war drums. Give it to me, I said, pointing to the flash drive now clutched in her fist. She hesitated. Then she dropped it and smiled. But not the smile of relief. The smile of someone who already had another hand in the game. I reached for the drive. And her phone buzzed. She glanced down. Her expression changed. Not panic. Recognition. Then laughter. Soft. Slow. Dangerous. You think you've won? She held up her phone. A video was playing. Not just any video. The security cam footage of me. At the vestibule outside room 803. Gloved. Labeled. Timestamp clear. Not spliced this time. Real. She watched my face in slow motion on the screen. And said, I made sure they saw you before the fire started. Heat rose in my chest. Cold ran down my spine. She wasn't scared. She was in control. And I was inches from losing everything. The sky cracked with thunder. And I realized it wasn't just evidence she had. It was leverage. And I had walked right into her trap. Rain fell like static on the courthouse steps. My shoes soaked through in seconds. Wind gusted. The flag snapped like a whip. A sky full of gray, no sun, no mercy. I waited under that storm. Hands clenched. Breath short. Every reporter's camera aimed at me like I was the last target on earth. Inside, the DA's office was a battlefield. Evidence boards. Red markers. Photos. Phone logs. Flight receipts. Bank transfers with AMC signatures. Everything pointing to one truth. Mara didn't just spin lies. She spun a web. And I walked into it. A voice on the PA called my name. I stepped forward. Into the storm of lenses. Into the room with the prosecutor and defense table. They played the clips first. Slow. Grainy. Me in the hallway near room 803. Then the lab report. The untreated compound found in the debris field, consistent with military-grade adhesive. Then the twist no one expected. Not a denial. Not an alibi. But a confession. Mara's voice. From a voicemail she accidentally left on her own phone. Make sure he takes the fall. For everything. I covered for you once. I won't again. Room went quiet. Shocked. Dead silent. Justice doesn't always sound loud. Sometimes it whispers through a phone line. The DA leaned in. This voicemail and the drive, he said, voice cold, are sufficient for indictment on multiple counts: arson, conspiracy, obstruction of justice. Her lawyer sputtered. Her face was impassive. Like she was already halfway out the door. I watched every reaction. Every flicker in every eye. But something didn't add up. I remembered something Harper once said. Truth is like a shadow, only useful if you know what cast it. I didn't trust shadows anymore. I raised my hand. I'd like to present additional evidence. The room blinked at me. I pulled out my phone. And hit play. A recording from the night before she disappeared. Her and Darius arguing. Not about us. About the firm. About the fire. About money. Not passion. Not rage. Profit. There was no plan to let it go wrong, Darius said. You promised me protection, Mara snapped back. Now you're expendable. Then a laugh. Cold. Deliberate. Mara's voice. Not remorseful. Detached. I did what I had to do. Every head turned. Every jaw slackened. Everyone heard it. This was bigger than any betrayal between husband and wife. This was corporate sabotage. A scheme to wipe out a liability while protecting elite clients. I stepped back. Hard hammering. Not relief. Clarity. The prosecutor's eyes narrowed. He stood. Based on new testimony and this recording, he announced, we're adding charges, racketeering, fraud, and mass endangerment. I didn't smile. I didn't need to. The storm outside matched the turbulence inside me. Cut scene. Outside, paparazzi crowded like vultures. Cameras flashing. Reporters shouting my name. Asking about revenge. Arson. Betrayal. I ignored them. I walked to the edge of the steps. Rain sliced down. Cold. Real. I looked at the courthouse behind me. Then out to the street beyond. I thought of every fire I ever put out. Every life I saved. Every moment I was too slow. Too sure. Too blinded. Someone once told me, the darkest fires test the strongest steel. That fire didn't make me weaker. It exposed what was forged in me long ago. No, I didn't win by revenge. I won by truth. And truth doesn't always burn quietly. I backtracked to my car. My phone buzzed. Unknown number. I ignored it. Slammed the door. Engine started. I drove. No destination. No plan. Just motion. Forward. Out of the storm. Then I stopped. At Dunes Beach. The ocean roared. Waves unfriendly. I stepped out. Sand cold. Feet sinking. I reached into my jacket. Pulled out the crushed remains of the glue bottle. The one that started all this. I dropped it into the surf. The tide pulled it, piece by piece, under. The world swallowed it whole. And I closed my eyes. Not thinking of Mara. Not of the fire. Not of the lies. But of who I was before all of this. A man who fought flames with purpose. Who believed in duty. Not deception. Nothing lasts forever. Not love. Not betrayal. Not fire. Not even ice. I walked back to my car. Dunes Beach behind me. Storm breaking. Clouds fracturing. Light creeping in. I didn't know what waited next. But I knew one thing. Truth might not save you. But lies will always burn you first. And the glue wasn't the only thing that stuck.